So, it's my first time recording a predictions video in 2026, and it starts right now with the FA Cup Round 3 predictions. Hi again, it's me. Today, we're doing my FA Cup Round 3 predictions in the 25-26 season, and can't you believe it, Premier League and Championship teams are invited to the FA Cup yet again for another season. And yet, the last of the day, and I got ourselves at least. It's just something like today. If you get it, that'd be nice. And yep, thank you for getting me up to 200 subs. After like a year and a half of trying to get us up to 200 subs, we finally did 200 subs. Yeah, the teams that will be colouring gold are Barnsley and Oldham. They're going to be represented in their match day on the 23rd of January weekend. They're going to be in gold for that weekend. Yep. And make sure to subscribe right there. Let's try and get ourselves up to 300 subs by the summer. If we get that, we're going to be doing 2 things gold. Or maybe, who really knows. But yeah, with the Friday nights, no messing about. Wrexham take on Nottingham Forest now. Nottingham Forest. I think they've been the shocker of the season. Europa League last season, they were literally fighting with Arsenal and fighting for Champions League spots last season. Now they're like literally just right above the relegation zone, but they're now 7 or 8 points clear now of the relegation zone. So I think they're going to be all right, Nottingham Forest. But Wrexham, 4 league wins in a row. What a Christmas period Wrexham had what a Christmas period Wrexham had this season. Can't even believe it. That is really impressive. But here's the thing, could Wrexham actually go on and make it 4 promotions in a row? And if they beat Nottingham Forest, that pulls out some wild questions. But I'm going to say this. I'm having a feeling a 1-1 draw at the end of the 90. But I think at extra time, I think Nottingham Forest will win 2-1 in extra time. But if Wrexham win, it's going to be absolutely wild. But into another Friday night, MK Dons take on Oxford now. Ooh, Ipswich again. What's really... Yeah, but it wasn't that long ago that both teams were literally just sitting around the League One relegation zone. Now there is potential that they both could be meeting in League One again next season on 2 different divisions or 2 separate divisions. But yeah, it's really a good game to watch. Really, it's really a tight one. But I think that MK Dons is going to pull it off. Really, I think of a 2-1 win to MK Dons for this one. Well, into the lunchtime kickoffs now on Saturday. Cheltenham taking on Leicester now. Ooh, Leicester barely won against West Brom to sack Ryan Mason from West Brom on Monday night, which leaves them up to 12th in the league. And Cheltenham are doing quite alright. They won 3-0 against Crawley. Won 3-0. That's impressive for Cheltenham on Sunday, as they were one of the only 2 League 2 games on Sunday. So, yep. But if Cheltenham wins here, that's going to pull up some wild questions as well. But I have a feeling, I think it's going to be too much for Cheltenham. I think that Leicester will probably ace through it. I think a 2-0 win to Leicester for this one. But then to the big game now, probably the biggest game for Macclesfield history. Macclesfield taking Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, the defending champions of the FA Cup. Who would have thought I'll be saying that this time last year? As Crystal Palace won the FA Cup last season. They're doing quite decent, but they fell down the table. They're falling down the table. They are 13th, drawing nearly to Aston Villa on, last night, the time I'm recording this. But, yeah, Crystal Palace are doing alright, but they just had too many fixtures, didn't they, last month, throughout December to now. And, yeah, it's going to be a tight one, but Macclesfield getting to the stage is really impressive. Getting a home tie against Crystal Palace. That stadium is going to be full as heck. But I have a feeling I think we're going to have goals for this one. I think we're going to have goals galore. But Macclesfield will sadly get knocked out. Crystal Palace, I think it might be too much. A 4-3 win to Crystal Palace for this one. And then the Everton thing with Sunderland now. Everton doing quite good at the Hill Dickinson Stadium with having a new stadium at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. They're doing quite decent, but drawing 1-1 the Wolves. We're down to 9 men. They were quite lucky that they didn't lose it. They quite, yeah. And Sunderland lost 3-0 to Brentford last night. But, yeah, Sunderland's home form has been really impressive. They are the only team joined with Arsenal that have been unbeaten or made their stadium be a fortress and being at home all season in the Prem. Really impressive for Sunderland, but they're down 10th. First time being below Newcastle this season, but I really think it's going to be a very tight one. It's going to be very tight. It's going to be a tight 1-1 draw. Penalties, it's going to be really, really tight. Yeah, but I was doing a coin flip on Sunderland who will win on pens, and it's landing on tails. That means that Sunderland will win on pens. But it could go either way. But then to Wolves take on Shrewsbury now. Wolves unbeaten in 3. It's the greatest escape on, or is Mission Impossible on for Wolves? Yeah, people say that. People say that run is over for a friend, but I think it is. But who knows? But they're against Shrewsbury, who are literally 22nd in the league, literally 90 plus places off of each other. So this could be, if Shrewsbury wins this will be the biggest upset I've probably seen since Maidstone. Yeah, Maidstone. Yeah. But nah, I have high doubts. I have high doubts. 4 on Wolves for this one. It'll be the biggest win since, yeah, etc. But until the 3 o'clock now, Man City taking Exeter now. Ooh, it's going to be a big away day for Exeter. Travelling to the Etihad. They're not the only Devon team that they went to the Etihad this in the past 11 months, because Plymouth went up there and yeah, they had a good away day and away night. And then this time it's Exeter from Devon's going to the Etihad. But yeah, it's going to be a very tight one. Man City hasn't even won a game this calendar year. Yeah, Rob won 3 in a row, but they could draw 4 in a row, but they can't. But they can draw 4 in a row at the end of the 90, but not at patterns, because it's a guaranteed winner. But yeah, it's going to be a very tight game to watch, really. I think Exeter will probably lead at one point, but then throughout that, Man City will probably ace through. I think a 4-1 win to City for this one. Then Ipswich took Blackpool now. Ipswich, yeah, they had a rest on Sunday. They had a bit of a rest because their game against Portsmouth was postponed due to a frosted pitch at Fratton Park. Why? I was prepared. Was I? But Blackpool also didn't, because they lost 2-1 to Bradford on Sunday. And yeah, they had a good start to the calendar year. They're now welcomed back into the bottom 7 in League One, because how blooming tight it is in League One. It's so tight. But yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be too much for Blackpool. I think that Ipswich will probably edge through here. I think a 3-1 win to Ipswich for this one. And then the Sheffield Wednesday and Brentford now. Ooh, Brentford. They are one of the sleeping giants in the Prem this season. 5th place they're up to, the highest I've seen them been since they've been demoted to the Prem. And wow, Brentford for Europe is probably on. And Sheffield Wednesday. That season is so over already. Now it depends on the FA Cup, and I have high doubts they're going to go through against Brentford. Look at Brentford recently; they have been really impressive. I have a feeling 3-1 win to Brentford this one. Sheffield Wednesday season is over. Then the Newcastle and Bournemouth now. Ooh, Newcastle and Bournemouth both pulled off insane games at the end last night. And Newcastle won 4-3 against Leeds. Bournemouth won 3-2, but they lost Semenyo as he's going to Man City. But he scored the winning goal for Bournemouth last night against Tottenham. Wow, And yeah, but it's going to be a very tight game to watch, really. Bournemouth are still at 15th, but they got their first one in 11, which is nice for Bournemouth. And for Newcastle, 3 wins in a row. Could they go on and win 4 in a row in all competitions? This is probably the best time to go on form, because look at the run of fixtures they've got between now and mid-February. Yeah, I think it's the perfect time, but I think that Newcastle, they'll barely ace through this. I think a 2-1 win to Newcastle this one, but it's going to be a tight one. And then the Doncaster people start them now. Ooh! Yeah, I can see there'll be an upset for this one, really. Doncaster, I know they're sat 23rd, but their game was postponed on Sunday because of that frosted pitch against, yeah. And Southampton, no wins in 6. This is concerning for Southampton now again, but they're stuck in the mid-table, Southampton, and they're not the only big team that's stuck in the mid-table of the Championship, but I have a feeling they're going to pull off a shocking exit for this one. I think a big upset's on the cards. A 2-1 win to Doncaster for this one. And then Salford take on Swindon now. Swindon will win in extra time. I think a 2-1 win to Swindon in extra time. And then Spurs take on Aston Villa now. Ooh, and the 5:45 kickoff. Wow, we were all up this really game. What's really? This was the exact same game as they played each other in the 4th round last season, and it ended up being a tight game. But yeah, Spurs have been quite concerning recently, losing to Bournemouth last night and Aston Villa drawing 0-0. There was that one time they went on and won 11 games non competition in a row. That is impressive for Aston Villa, and I'm saying Aston Villa was one of our favourites to win the FA Cup last season for me. They could do it again. I think they're one of my favourites to win the FA Cup again this season, but who blooming knows here? It's going to be a very tight one, but it's going to be very tight. I think we're going to have 5 goals for this one. I think we'll have a 3-2 win to Aston Villa for this one, but it's going to be a tight one. And then the Grimsby City of Western Supermare now. Ooh, Western Supermare in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. I told you in the 2nd round we would guarantee to have 2 6th tier sides in the 3rd round. And look at that, they both are Macclesfield and Western Supermare and against Grimsby. That actually pulled off a big upset once against Man United in the Carabao Cup. So could they get upsetted by Western Supermare in the 6th tier, which leads some more questions, but who blooming knows here. It's going to be a very tight one, but Western Supermare will pull off a good fight. But I think that Grimsby is going to put it somewhere. I think a 2-0 win to Grimsby for this one. Then the Bristol City and Watford now. Ooh, yeah, Bristol City. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Bristol. Oh yeah, they lost 2-0 to Preston on Sunday, sadly, and then one game they smashed Portsmouth 5-0 on New Year's Day at Ashton Gate. So this is their 3rd Ashton Gate game in a row for Bristol City. But yeah, Bristol City are down to 10th, and Watford had their game postponed against Hull, as it was 20 minutes into it, 20 minutes before kickoff, their game was announced postponed due to faulty pitch. The players are already there, but it was too icy. The end. Yeah, yeah. If you want to know, yeah, yeah. Stop yapping. My prediction here. It's gonna be a very tight one. It's gonna be a 1-1 draw. I think it's gonna go to penalties, but I think that Bristol City will only just go through on pens. Then it'll kick off now for Charlton to take on Chelsea now in the London Derby in the FA Cup. The absolute game to watch, really. It'll be Liam Rosenior's 1st match for Chelsea under manager. So, what a rise Liam Rosenior's been. He used to be a Hull City manager 2 years ago. He got sacked, got moved to Strasbourg in France, and he got moved to Chelsea now, and he's taken off his 1st game against Charlton away. Who is had for Liam Rosenior's debut, and I know they lost 2-1 to Fulham on Wednesday, and Charlton are down to 19th, but it's gonna be a tough game to watch really for Charlton. But I think that LC will probably ace through it comfortably. I think a 2-1 win to Chelsea for this one. And into the Sundays now, Derby taking on Leeds now for the lunchtime kick-off. Ooh, that's a really good game to watch really. Leeds, it was heartbreak for them in the final minutes. The game went on. It kicked off at 8:15. It went on all the way until 10:30 at night. Oh my days! Unreal that was really for Leeds to take the lead 3 times in that game against Newcastle and still lose is kind of unreal. But and Derby's doing alright, but lost 2-1 to Wrexham on Sunday. But I think Derby's going to sadly lose to Leeds here. I think it's going to be too much for Derby. I'm thinking of a 2-0 win to Leeds for this one. And then to Portsmouth taking Arsenal now. Ooh, 2 o'clock kick-off. It's a 2 o'clock kick-off. Who is hype? Arsenal heading to Fratton Park. That'll be a filled-up stadium at Fratton Park. But Fratton Park, why did their game get called off on Sunday against Ipswich? But we got a new date for that game, and it'll be on the 3rd of February 2026 on Tuesday night. Yeah, that'll be a good one to watch. And for Arsenal top of the table, but drawing 0-0. But that is such a disgrace. What Gabriella Martinelli did to Conor Bradley, that is such a disgrace. Oh my days! It's a good fact I wasn't the ref, because he would have been gone. Yeah, but what a song that is from Teddy Swims. But back to the predictions. it's going to be a tough game, but I think that Arsenal will probably ace through it. I think another 3-1 win to Arsenal for this one. And this has potential to be a League One match next season. Ugly take on Walsall now. Ooh. Yeah, Walsall travelling the Carrow Road, more like road. But yeah, Ugly, yeah, they're out to 22nd but losing 2-0 to Stoke on Sunday. And Walsall's doing quite alright, but they had the game called off on last Sunday because of that. Yeah, you all know, frozen pitch. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game to watch, really. It's going to be a tight one. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. In penalties, I think Ugly's going to win it on pens. Barely. And then West Ham are going to keep you on now in another London derby. And this has potential to be a championship match next season. And I think it could be next season because West Ham, yeah, they lost 2-1 to Nottingham Forest on Tuesday night in a heartbreak fashion. But they're now 7 8 points behind of safety. And I really think it's going to be a tough mission for West Ham. But it's going to be a tight game to watch, really. But I think there's going to be goals. I'm going to say for this, a 3-2 win to West Ham for this one. And then to the 4:30 kickoff now. Man United taking Brighton now. Ooh, Man United. Dan Fletcher is in charge for now as interim. But yeah, Ruben Alvarez sacked. Finally he's been sacked. Yeah, I hate him. I hated him. I absolutely did. I hated him so much. He was absolutely such a... And yeah, Man United 7th. Brighton are 11th, drawing 1 on the Man City in the weekend, not on Wednesday night. But I think Man United will get going after drawing 3 in a row to the easiest teams that they should have faced, and they should have won 3 in a row. But I think they're going to barely win this in a low-scoring match. A 1-0 United for this one. Into the Monday nights now. Liverpool taking on Barnsley now. I swear, Liverpool always gets an easy tie in this round. I swear they always do. But drawing 3 in a row in the league. Conor Bradley is out injured. And yeah, but Liverpool haven't won a league match in 2026, or an actual game in 2026. But Barnsley, they're falling down the table, but it's not their fault. It's actually not their fault because the amount of games they're behind isn't their fault. So yeah, if they were on 25 games, I believe they could have been in the top 10 or in the playoff chat. But yeah, with all their games lands, they're really down in the relegation zone. 2 points off the relegation zone, and it's really not their fault. But Liverpool, 4th place, Conor Bradley is going to be out sadly because he could be out longer really, because what Gabriel Martinelli did to him is such cruel and not funny. It is just rude and it's a crime. But I think that Liverpool win here. I'm thinking of a 2-1 win to Liverpool for this one. But if you're wondering, here's the rest of my predictions for this FA Cup third high, but run tie right here. And if it's my predictions, you can comment down below what your predictions will be. And if you thanks for this video, I have enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and share. And you'll see you guys later. Bye!